Big shout out to everyone that's coming in today for our little chill stream. It's a safe space. Yes, indeed. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all enjoyed the weekend. And are we enjoying this little bad boy here? Look at that. Yes, the Jedi skills are improving. Me likey. So, we're back. We're live. I've got a smile on my face today. One of our own old friends has touched a base over in Discord. A big shout out to the cricket if she is watching. It's been so long, and yeah, like an old friend, you know, just turning up. Brilliant stuff. And I hope all of you, like I said, have had a great weekend. I hope you were able to catch myself and Bill last night with Travis Short and with Lara Calhoun. Now, I'm going to be getting Lara to come back on the show sometime soon, the Kev Baker show. And we're going to get into some high weirdness. But last night's show, if you want to see it, all you have to do is head on over to Bill Bean's YouTube channel. And the full archive of Warrior Mode is in there. So it's another week here on the stream in the chill out zone, the safe space, whatever you want to call it. It can be anything. It morphs, it changes, it evolves over time. Yes, indeed. And we're back today with something very important, actually, that we need to chill out over. Not get serious over, just have a little conversation, take a look at some stuff that a lot of KBS viewers have been sending my way. I think there was 5 people all in that had sent me different links, different questions, different information, all relating to what could possibly be the next big thing to come in 2020. I know. So today I'm not making any judgment on the information. We're just going to talk about it. We're going to look at it. We're not going to go all the way down the rabbit hole, and we're not going to go all the way into debunking either. We're just going to take a look at it. We're going to be rational. We're going to be logical. I'll sprinkle a little woo on it along the way as well. And yes, we need to talk about asteroids. Oh, I know. I say I know, and I look almost disappointed and deflated because I've been here before. I've almost got a full drawer full of I survived this asteroid, that comet, this end of the world date, that end of the world date. And so please don't think that I'm here telling you that this is a certainty, that this will happen. And on the other end of that, I'm not telling you it's not going to happen either. We're going to sit down, we're going to take a look at the information, we'll talk about it. I'll probably bring it up on tonight's show with our very special guest. And tonight, ladies and gents, my good friend Ben Emlyn Jones is back, and we are returning to Skinwalker Ranch, okay? And I'll be asking Ben about the asteroid story that we're about to get into. Now, before I get there, I remember the whole hype around Comet Elenin and ELE out of Elenin. People had theorized that was an acronym for Extinction Level Event. I know, very dramatic, very scary, yet here we are. We're still here today. That's the one that really comes into my mind the most, where I really did dive right down the rabbit hole to the point where I couldn't see anything else. I was convinced that this had to be a thing. Okay? Now that, and several other episodes along the way, has kind of left me feeling a bit burnt out when it comes to people predicting asteroids and comets and things like this. And when it comes to 2020, we've got enough going on already, right? I think we've probably crammed enough into the first half of the year that we can have a really mundane, chilled second half. Like that's ever going to happen, right? Right? So, yes, we're going to talk about it. And again, I'm going to emphasize, not saying it's happening 100%, not saying it's not happening 100%. We're just going to take a look at it. I have got quite a few notes. It's a lengthy video, but we'll get to that part in a moment. let me just kind of preface this with one of my favorite clips. Now, this comes from somebody called Dr. Carol Rosen, and she just happened to work with Werner von Braun. You know, the guy that was in charge of NASA. Well, they got talking, as you do when you work together. And one day the conversation got really, really weird and interesting because he kind of laid out to Carol what was to come. And it goes a little something like this.
Good morning. My name is Carol Rosen. In 1974, after being a sixth grade school teacher, I was introduced to the late Dr. Werner von Braun in the U.S., the father of rocketry. In my first meeting with him during that first 3.5 hours...
I have to pause it. It's got to be one of my favourite clips ever. If you've been listening to me for years, you know that I have played this, well over 100 times, but it's still good. And today, for what we're talking about, it's very, very relevant.
He said to me, Carol, you will stop the weaponization of space.
She's got that accent thing going on, right? Hasn't she? You will stop the weaponization of space. Yes, indeed.
And I said, teachers don't stop until June. He said, no, you have to understand. This is February. And we have to prevent the weaponization of space because there is a lie being told to everyone that the weaponization of space is now first being based upon the evil empire, the Russians. There are many enemies, he said, against whom we're going to build this space-based weapon system. The first of whom was the Russians, which was existing at that time. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be third world countries. Now we call them rogue nations or nations of concern. Then there would be asteroids.
Then there would be asteroids. So where does asteroids come into the plan?
And then he would repeat to me over and over, and the last card, the last card, the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat.
So if we pause that there and keep that in our mind, that was at the press club, that was years ago. This has only been re-uploaded this year, this version of it. I want to say it was pre-2012, but I'm just absolutely guessing. It's an older clip. It is an older clip. But that there, make of it what you will, okay? But just keep that in mind. And like I was saying, it often comes along in the corners of the internet that people like you and me like to dwell. We like to look at this kind of information. We like to look at the things that isn't coming from the mainstream. We like to look for alternative theories, ideas, and from time to time something really big comes along. And for me, it feels like, and again, this is just my personal opinion, it doesn't add anything to or take anything away from the information we're going to get into today. But I'll share it with you anyway. Does it not feel like every September there's something big coming to get us? I remember one year it was the trumpets and the opening the seals of the apocalypse that was predicted for a September. And funnily enough, the main source that we're going to be going to for today's information, I have to tell you, was one of the people, and I was as well, that predicted that I think it was September 2013. Might have been 2015. It's all blending into one. It might have been 2017. But I've been there a few Septembers before. I've put that out. I've dived down this rabbit hole many times. Now, does that mean because I've been down it many times, I'm going to be able to tell right away if this is another red herring, if it's just a tall story, or if it's the real one? No. But I would like to think I've gained a little bit of experience along the way, right? And I'm not telling you what to think about this. I'm encouraging you to please look into it yourself. I've got some problems with it. Okay, I've got several problems with it. But the main part of this story is coming from this YouTube channel over here. Now, I'm not here to tell you this is a good channel or a bad channel. I have seen this gentleman, Stephen Banoon, I believe his name is, or Ben Noon, his name is, talking before. And again, I'm not here to cast judgment on this guy, on his content. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to offer you some thoughts about what I've seen in this video. Now, I'm only going to play the first minute of this. And like I say, I encourage you all to watch this. But this is the thing that got me today, because even in the first minute of this, I started to have some issues. So let's take a little listen to information that Earth is soon to be passing through an asteroid field. Okay? Again, I'm not here to tell you this guy is lying to you. I'm not here to tell you he's 100% correct. We're going to look at the information. We're going to talk about where he gets it from. And then we'll take it from there. And of course, I'll come into the chat room as well. There's enough going on this year without me adding to the doom and gloom, okay? And hopefully by the end of this, we'll be able to sit down, not react emotionally, but critically think about what it is we're being told here. Okay? Let's do it.
Good evening, friends. I'm Stephen Banoon. You're watching Israeli News Live. Yet another source has come forth speaking to me privately about this asteroid belt that we have been talking to you about for the past 4 months. This time, an engineer from FEMA has shared detailed information with us privately that confirms and goes even deeper into the stories that we've been that's been told to us by White House and Pentagon sources. And before I go into all of this, friends, I need to first really clarify with you. I don't know, I can't personally confirm this information to be 100% accurate. Do I believe that this is coming? I believe that there's a very real possibility.
Okay, so we will pause it right there, because I've heard a couple of things already that start to raise red flags. Okay? He talks about how one of his latest people to come forward is a FEMA whistleblower. He also mentioned having FEMA sources, Pentagon sources, White House sources. He goes on to talk about how he's got nuclear physicists and an active engineer at FEMA as well, who are all coming to him independently with information that seems to line up. And as Stephen here says, he cannot confirm any of this. So I'm not passing judgment on this guy, okay? I'm not here to tell you he's a good or a bad guy. But he himself has already told you 1 minute in that none of this can be confirmed, okay? Now, what one of the scientists is telling him, and this is allegedly an insider from the White House. Now, the insider has worked at the White House since the Reagan administration, so you're talking multiple decades, allegedly. He's worked in the kind of scientific advisory type of field. And he describes what we're about to be entering in space as some kind of debris/asteroid field. He compares it to running across a 5-lane highway that's really busy. You know you're going to be dodging in and out of things, and there's a good chance you might just get clipped or whacked or hit. Okay, it's a really crude analogy. Now, he also talks about how the planet itself for some time has been experiencing increased levels of radiation. And that had puzzled them. And now things have become quite critical because they've detected something going on at the core of the planet with it heating up, causing cracks, fissures, things like that. Again, I'm not here to tell you bunk 'em or all true. I'm just telling you, I'm trying to relay as best I can the info, but I urge y'all to check this out. He also talks about how there's going to be great ocean displacency because of these events. Israel, Syria, and China are going to be the places that are least affected, but still experiencing something like 100 to 200 mile per hour winds. And this is going to be not just one event. He emphasizes the fact that by September, his sources have told him that nobody will be in any doubt about what's coming. We'll be able to see it in the night sky, okay? Now, let me just stop there right now and let us talk about this, okay? Let us just talk about what I've told you so far. We're talking about White House insiders, people he says advises the president. We're talking about FEMA whistleblowers. We're talking about other sources that are coming forward. And the guy himself has told you right off the bat there is no way to verify any of this. So what could we do? What can me and you and people listening to this or people listening to that video, what are the kind of things that we can think of then? Well, I can think of right away, if we're about to enter some kind of asteroid field, we're about to enter somewhere that already they say is affecting the outer kind of planets, then my first query would be, okay, and this is just my thinking. I'm not here to ruin anyone's conspiracy or anyone's LARP, all right? But my first concern would be, well, is there any amateur astronomers out there or any, anyone talking about, looks a bit different up there. There's things kind of to-ing and fro-ing. And, well, we heard not long ago, a couple of years ago, that they were looking for Planet 9, right? Or Planet 10, depending on how you want to call it. And then last week I covered how they didn't find Planet 10, but there's still things or something that's affecting the Oort cloud. For, just to kind of condense it down. And they talk about a potential black hole out there. So we know that the world's telescopes are trained on the outer limits of the solar system. Now, I know right away that if there's something out there that they deem classified and they don't want us to know, then they're not going to tell us about it. I get that, okay? However, would we start to see some of the amateurs with better telescopes raising any alarms? That would be one thing I would look out for. Because, yeah, we know places like NASA and everything else, so they're obviously going to classify anything they want, and we wouldn't know, right? FEMA, White House, whatever, all the kind of people that he's talking about, there would be a need-to-know basis, and it would be very compartmentalized, and I would imagine we would be the last to know. However, I do think the amateur astronomers could be like a canary in the coal mine, or almost like a canary in the solar system, if you want to put it that way, right? We have seen asteroids, not asteroids, meteors and bolides and things like that very recently. I remember one in Australia. Is that anything new? Well, we always encounter things when we're flying through space. So does that make me think that, this guy's onto something? And again, I don't want to say this guy, because in the end of the day, he claims to be getting his information from so many different high-level sources. And my question to you, folks, and you ask it to yourself, does it make sense? Hey, thank you, Sean Stradamus.
For Kev's End of the World PPP Asteroid Fund.
Hey, if it's coming, we're all going to sit on the beach of Speculation Island and get the popcorn out, right? But does it feel right? Think about it. Really, really test it. Now, I don't know this guy. I've seen his work before. Israel News Live, it's called, or Israeli News Live is the channel. Big channel, 340,000 subscribers, a lot of prophecy stuff on there. There's also on there little connections into Paul Begley and things like that, but we shouldn't let that taint how we're looking at this, and I want to take you back to it. If there's something so classified out there, and there really is this thing that we need to know about, does it make sense that they run to somebody on YouTube that, out of all the places in the world they could go, they've all decided independently, because remember, he says none of these sources know each other. There's a couple of ways you can look at this. One, the guy himself is at it. I'm not saying he is. One of the options, he's absolutely elaborating all of this himself. There's no insiders. Okay? Number two, he's absolutely getting contacted by people, and they're telling him that yes, they're independent, they don't know any of the other people, this is their information, have this. He could be getting used to put misinformation, disinformation out there. And I'm not saying he's a bad person, because he honestly thinks he's raising the alarm. So number two, could people be using him to put this narrative out there to a big audience that they know will get traction? That's another option, okay? Number three, the whistleblowers are all genuine. They're all genuine, and they've decided independently, right, we're just going to go to this dude. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that even comes into it. The minute you've got more than one whistleblower, multiple whistleblowers, like I say, I'll reel them off again. You got White House insiders, Pentagon insiders, FEMA, an active engineer at FEMA, nuclear physicists, all of them independently coming to them. Now you could, absolutely you could, but does it sound right? And again, I'm not here to rubbish it. I'm not here to tell you it's definitely happening. But I have some serious issues when you have whistleblowers running to YouTube. And if YouTube and recent times has taught us anything, that we need to be very, 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 very careful when anyone makes any claims and it's coming from anonymous, faceless sources. We must treat it the way that you can only treat it, as hearsay, as one man's word. Now people will say, but Kev, I've been watching this cat for years, he's got a track record of being right. Well, if that's the case, that's cool. I'm telling you where I'm coming in on this right now without doing a deeper dive on this cat. And listen, am I going to find things on his channel where he's been wrong? Yeah. I've been wrong more times than I'm right. But I'm just trying to get a bigger picture, a better picture. I'm trying to show you how I think about these things when they come along. Doesn't mean I get it right, but I hope to show you some of the ways that I test it. And some of the other information that's in this video. Give me 2 secs, folks. I'm going to have to put on the music. That's Anne at the door. 2 seconds. Go. Thanks for that, folks. Thank you. Kevin actually got the door in the end there. So that's Anne home from work. So let's get back into this. I don't want to take up too long of your time. I'm going to talk a bit about this with Ben Emlyn Jones later on the show as well. I have concerns about where the information's coming from. But with that said, there's always been a story out there that, oh, what's happened to my little emoji family? They've all gone shrunk and really, really small. Get them blown up there. So, John Moore is somebody that's got a radio show. I think he's on Republic Broadcasting Network. I used to listen to him years ago. And the reason I used to listen to him, I'm going to pull this up here. Navy is because he used to talk about a briefing that had been taking place or had taken place, I believe, in the 60s or 70s. Now, this briefing was allegedly attended by very high-ranking military personnel from various countries, and they were told about an event that would happen in the future. They knew about this cataclysmic event that would very much could tie in with what we're hearing here today. It fits those kind of parameters. Some kind of asteroid, some kind of debris field, things coming in, hitting the planet. It ties in. So there is some historical precedent to potentially, I wasn't at that briefing, potentially some high-level briefing that took place years ago when they were preparing for this or when they found out about it. It was naval admirals, if I remember rightly. I haven't listened to John Moore for a while, but one thing I do know is that he was the guy that came out with this. Now, this here, it's also in the video from Israeli News Live. He shows a number of these potential US coastline maps, okay? Now, basically, what Stephen Ben-Nun says, and again, I'm not here telling you the guy's a good guy or a bad guy. I'm just trying to relay what bullet points I think are relevant for me to give you a first impression. He talks about Florida being totally gone. Totally gone. And I've got a bit of an issue with that as well. Because at one point he says how they don't know the time, they don't know when this is going to happen, the big event, it's going to be ongoing. And that's cool. But then if that's the case, you don't know, you don't have trajectories, you don't have anything or velocities, then how can you work out that one state is absolutely going to be gone? You can't. To do that, you would need to know where it's going to hit, right? Right? I mean, that makes sense, yeah? Doesn't mean that the whole video is debunked. It doesn't mean that the information's debunked. Again, just sharing my thoughts. Is it time for us to panic? Is it time for us to get even more hectic with everything in 2020 that's going on? I don't think so. Not yet. Not yet. And with everything going on in 2020, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you here, folks. With everything going on in 2020, my best guess is that this cat's genuine, okay? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. I've got no reason to think he's one of the LARPers that I often talk about. No reason to think that. So, if he is as genuine and a nice guy like myself, you know, one of yous out there, I think it's a thought. I think this guy's been used to put out misinformation, disinformation. It's disinfo that's coming to him and he's mistakenly putting out as real info. I think he's been used. Do I believe he's got White House sources, FEMA sources, everything else in the first place? Well, without knowing his track record, it would be wrong of me to make a final judgment on that. But when I think more logically and I step back and I think of my time online and everything else, anytime I've been approached by a whistleblower, you know, at the time, sometimes I went with it and got it wrong. Other times, it just smelled iffy right away. Point being, typically whistleblowers don't run to people like me or people that hang out on YouTube. They just don't. Usually the ones that do that have got an angle. Okay? They're either trying to sell a book, They're trying to raise money through something else. And there's nothing wrong with that if it's genuine. If it's genuine. But I think, in all honesty, especially with information warfare being what it is, and it's been ramped up to the max in 2020, the war for our minds is at peak levels. Everything vying for our attention, and I think something like this, I don't know. My gut, I like to trust it. You know I do. I like to think I've got pretty honed discernment. Doesn't mean I can't be wrong, though. Am I going to look into this deeper? Absolutely. Will I be doing a follow-up stream talking about this? Yes, it'll either be to tell you that I think there's nothing in it, or if I do start to think there's something in it, you'll be the first people to know. I'll tell you what I did do today when I was having a look around was I typed in asteroids. It's not hard. See what stories are doing the rounds out there in the mainstream right now. Is there much talk of asteroids? Well, actually, there is. There is. I can't say there isn't. First up, we have got, this was 2 days ago. I think this one might have passed by now, but NASA says an asteroid nearly twice the size of Dock Tower heading close to Earth. Now, this was, NASA says an asteroid thought to be nearly twice the size of Grimsby Landmark will come to the Earth this month. And the space rock, which is nearly twice the size of the Dock Tower, will make a close approach to our planet. I think it's, it will come within 0.034 astronomical units of the planet, NASA has warned. And that's going to happen on July the 24th. So that's 4 days away. This, you see this guy in the video? He says that by the time September comes, we're going to be left in no doubt. And it kind of feels like there's going to be little events that lead up to then. And by the time we get to September, it's going to be kind of obvious that there's definitely something going on in the sky. People are going to be seeing a lot of fireballs. Maybe not even big ones. See the ones just streak across? Just something to indicate that we're in a busier place in space. So we've got that there. Another story. Astronomers identify asteroids of interstellar origin inhabiting our sun. That's July the 19th. And a study conducted by scientists at Sao Paulo State University Institute of Geosciences and Exact Sciences in Rio Claro, Brazil, has identified 19 asteroids of interstellar origin, classified as centaurs. Cool name. Outer solar system objects that revolve around the sun in the region of the orbits of Jupiter and Neptune. So we had that. And then I found this one. 4 massive asteroids en route to Earth as scientists discover space rocks, again, like we'd heard there. Only this time it says there's some on its way. It says as NASA reports that 5 more asteroids are headed our way this week, 4 of which are over 50 meters in diameter. Research from Brazil has identified some 19 space rocks of interstellar origin in our solar system. And scientists at Sao Paulo State University Institute of Geosciences and Exact Sciences have identified asteroids formed in our solar system in the galaxy and classified them as centaurs. These 19 alien asteroids are located between the orbits of Jupiter and Neptune and were spotted thanks to the unusual path around our solar system, according to one of the study's authors. So there is information out there that asteroids are in the news. Do we go full confirmation bias and say, well, that plays into the whole asteroid thing, they're coming? could mean that. It could be the start of bringing the public up to speed. The second last card, the asteroid card, more news about it, put it into people's consciousness. There's a lot of things that have been going on in the world this year that you could possibly view another way. And look at it from a point of view, and it's hard to talk about without getting kicked off of here. You know what I'm talking about, though. Everyone, the world changed this year, right? A lot of our behaviors that we used to just take for granted, day-to-day life, totally changed. Now you could go full confirmation bias again and say, well, haha, it's all because of this thing coming in September. Or it's exactly what they've told us it is. See, two ways to look at it. Can I tell you which one it is? No, I can't. Do I think this thing is coming in September? Well, my final thought on this, and I suppose I could have opened up with this thought and saved us all a heap of time, is that if we come over here, but that wouldn't have been a fun stream, right? It wouldn't have been woo, you know? And I know it's not been much woo. It's a bit of doom and gloom, really, if this is true. But again, I'm not making any claims here. I'm not even debunking. But this chap here, Stephen, one thing I would say about a video like this, which has 100,000 views in a day, is that the powers that be aren't bothered that we're seeing it. Multiple ways of looking at that again. Does that mean that they're using Mr. Ben Noon here to slowly bring the public up to speed, albeit 100,000 people at a time, seed the consciousness? From there, those 100,000 people go out, talk about it. I do videos on it. Multiple people do videos on it. In fact, if we just look at Asteroid 2020, let's see. 58 minutes ago, NASA issues asteroid warning. 16 hours ago, will a large asteroid hit the Earth? Lots of people talking about this, folks. If this was so highly classified, if this was, and of course, don't forget Neowise. We just had Neowise recently as well, right? We had Nanny Puff Puff out there in the chat room. Susie, our good friend Keith, I think it was. He sent us a brilliant picture of that. But you can see this, look. 4 months ago, will an asteroid hit? There's been people talking about this for a while then, right? I'm telling you right now, I've done one half day of half diving into this. More just my initial thoughts, to be quite honest with you. What I've shown you here today and what I've shared with you, it's just some of my initial thoughts. I'm going to look into it more, just to see what's happening. 4 days ago, it's that guy again. Let's see what he says here.
I wanted to share some things as I get updates, try to find out more information for you guys, and also address the issue about Florida. Some people, after I did the video the night before last, I guess, excuse me, people were asking me, Steve, why would you leave Florida? What's the deal with Florida? Well, it's a number of issues. But before I get into that, let me first, while we have a live broadcast, because I'm going to lose my signal.
Now, folks, this channel is, well, this is Fox Chase. This is a different channel. I think somebody's re-uploaded it. Fair use. We're commentating on this. Our videos about this guy's information. So,
very soon.
Come on.
I wanted to share with you the name of the video, Prepare for Impact. I said to you back about 4 months ago, my Pentagon source, also advisor to the president, had told me...
You see, again, Pentagon source, advisor to the president. Donald Trump, he can't keep anything to himself. If he knew about that, he'd have been tweeting about this a long time ago. No, again, that was just a kind of jokey reaction there. But, again, you see, I mean, this isn't as much viewed, obviously, it's a smaller channel. There's only 36 subscribers on there. For a channel with 36 subscribers to get 1,000 views, over 1,000 views in 5 days, it's actually quite phenomenal. This is a trending topic, and I know it's a trending topic because I checked it earlier on. Remember I was telling you that it feels like every September something comes along, right? Well, I went and checked because I thought, hang on, is this just like a yearly thing in the conspiratorial industrial complex? Is it like the world tour of like events come September time? You know, it's instead of Glastonbury and the music scene and things like that, we have asteroids in September. Well, actually, no, it doesn't pan out like that at all. Wait, you see this? Here we go. So if I type in asteroid, okay, and I put it for the past 5 years, check this out. So I actually thought we would have seen a lot more back here, build up to, in fact, that wasn't as long ago, hang on. There we go, 2004 to present, right? This one here, this is us in around December 2012, January 2013. Obviously, it's going to be a huge one there, right? Everyone was checking about the end of the world. But over here, March. Now, that guy in the video said 4 months ago he started talking about this. That's where he started talking about it. It's reflected in the Google Trends, and it's been that popular that it almost matches the kind of interest that we've seen in asteroids in the build up to, well, what date's that? That's November 2011. Would that have been Elenin? No, when was Elenin? That was December 2010. That was a comet. So what was the asteroid? November 2011. There we go. Asteroid 2005 YU55. That's the one that was causing a lot of problems back then, okay? And then, like I say, that there, I'm predicting that was just round about, well, it's January 2013. So, end of the world, Mayan stuff, yeah. But look, in the past 2004 to date, 16 years, this dude, this information with this asteroid stuff that's been rumbling on for a while now, it's getting a lot of attention. Now, multiple ways of looking at that. And again, the first thing I would say is, well, if it's so secret and they want to keep it so close to their chest, then how is it we're getting to see it in the first place? And why is it as well that with the Trump administration, and again, maybe it is, I don't really hang about on these forums, but you would expect that the 17th letter of the alphabet, being that super duper insider that he or she is, they would be raising the alarm about this as well, right? Right? I know they just spend most of their time posting memes and stuff like that, and who knew? But, yeah. Now, does that mean, again, just because we're getting to see it, does that mean that it's got to be this info, it's got to be a psyop, it's got to be something, they want to see it? Doesn't necessarily, but we do know that if there's anything they don't want us looking at, they'll tear it right down. They tear it right down. So if you're allowed to look at it, you've got to wonder, are we being gamed? Are we being distracted? Is our minds being taken off something else? I kind of hate talking about distractions because anything can be a distraction. Anne could fart right now and distract me. I could turn around and miss something that's said in the chat room. You get me? Anything can be a distraction if you let it. If you let it. With everything going on in the world right now, I don't think we need too much more to be kind of concerned or worried about. However, that being said, I am going to do a little more digging into this. I'm going to see who else is talking about it. If it's the same characters that always talk about Nibiru or Planet X or anything like that, then I'm going to start to lean on the side of I'm not buying it. But I'm keeping an open mind and we're looking at it from all angles. That's why, you know, you could look at the whistleblowers coming to him as being absolute bunk. Why would whistleblowers go to him? But then there's another way of looking at it as well. If you truly believe this, you might think that these whistleblowers, the mainstream won't touch them, that they know this cat talks about things on YouTube and it's the only place they can go. You see how if you go in with a preconceived idea, you're going to take that information, you're going to make it fit so that what you thought in the first place is absolutely true, when there's so many different ways of looking at this information. Again, I'm not judging the channel. I don't know enough about it to say absolute LARPer, absolute shenanigans. I don't know enough about it. I really don't. So, I know this is probably going to be as frustrating as heck to most people watching it, because they want that big headline, they want that takeaway, they want that kind of, that drama. They want the action. I don't know if there's action. I'm just saying, let's take a look at it. I'll speak to Ben about it tonight. Right now, I'm leaning towards, I don't know. My gut's telling me, I don't know, you've been here before, Kev. We'll report on it, say, December, maybe next year, once the flap's finished, because it says this goes on for a good couple of months, folks. It's not like just over in one day. FEMA engineer has said that employees have been told to get ham radios. It's got all of the ingredients to a good LARP. But the guy isn't trying to sell you anything from what I know. He's not telling you to send some money for a GoFundMe for an asteroid defense shield or anything like that. So I'm not... I hope you can appreciate I'm not having a go at the character himself. I think he might have been used. I think with the kind of topics that he covers, and let's just take a look here. If we go over here, back a page. Well, there's a leaked photo that NASA doesn't want you to see. It looks like something I could probably do on... Well, if it's a leaked photo they don't want you to see and it was that city, do you think that's the chronovisor? Do you think so? Only joking. You see how many things are going on? Deep Impact, November 2020. Deep Impact seems to be the kind of... Oh, another one. End of the world. Whoa! God. Dang, dude. Where's my soundboard going? There it is. So, if we come back here, right?
Safe zone. I can't say that a meteorite won't strike the Earth there and take you out.
We'll go into his channel. We'll take a look at the videos. Trump, Israel prepares for all-out war with Iran 3 days ago. Who are all the Mossad agents, armed civilians, patrol the streets. He does get into, funnily enough, being called Israeli news. A lot of the kind of political stuff as well. With a big audience, folks. He could be getting used here. I think there could be people contacting him. They could well be telling him stuff. Does that mean it's true, though? Wait and see. I honestly, it feels to me like some kind of distraction. Feels to me like some kind of narrative out there. I don't know. We've seen this before, though. Yeah, this is how the Bernaise sauce is made. Yeah, exactly. I don't... You see, there's going to be something coming in the end. Propaganda, yep. I don't know, folks. I really don't know. Like I say, I'm going to keep an eye on it. It's hard to pin me down, I know, but right now I'm starting to feel that we've probably got other things that we should be concerned about this year, as opposed to starting to panic over this. Just yet. You know, we're flying through space every minute of every hour of every day. And yeah, vast segments of it, nothing happening. Can we pass through a segment where it could get rough? Absolutely. Absolutely, we could. But does that mean we all have to start losing our crap right now and, running out and prepping? Well, if this year's taught us anything anyway, we should be a little bit prepared for anything that comes our way, right? Right? I think we can all agree on that, says Kev, who's vastly unprepared for anything. But I'm almost finished, Annie, and I will feed you. Aye. As usual. Aye, there we go. I'm back, folks. I'm back. I thought she was going to throw the shoe at me there. But I'm going to come into the chat room. I'm going to see what you people are saying, right? Because I just, this is my initial thoughts. You might be absolutely raging out there. You might be thinking, Kev Baker, you absolute scumbag. Imagine not jumping on board with us. I haven't jumped off it yet. I'm observing. I'm taking that quantum observation position. I'm playing all sides of the aisle. I'm playing it as if I'm convinced it's real. I'm playing it like I'm convinced it's bunk. And I need all of you to contribute as well. So I'm going to shove on this. Again, how cool is that little video? Look at that one, Anne. Look. Look at that. Look how good your man is. Look at that. Look how great that is. Yeah, I got rid of that. So I'll be back in a couple of moments, folks. I'm going to read out the chat room. Again, please understand, I'm not here having a go at this guy. I don't do having a go. Well, sometimes I do. But not this time. I'm just thinking about it. We're just talking about it. We're trying to make sense of it. We're trying to see if it's worth us investing our time to dive right down the orbit of the asteroid. My good friend Algo, who's going to be coming on the show, he's going to be coming on the 3rd of August, I believe it's the first Monday in August. Love his stream when I'm able to catch it. He hangs out there. I think he was inviting all of the people from Discord over there last night. But Algo says, when the red flags pop up, they should be heeded for sure. You know, Algorithm, you're absolutely right, brother. And maybe I shouldn't be so concerned about people's feelings and by maybe offending them, standing on their toes, by not agreeing with, the latest big event coming our way. But there are a lot of red flags. There's a lot of red flags, folks. But does a field of red flags mean that it's all wrong? I don't know. I'm going to come back into the chat room. We'll see what they say. Vardon Guerrero. Sup, brother? Real quick, when you look up Assassin's Creed Valhalla, brilliant game. It looks absolutely epic. Epic, man. Did you see Watch Dogs as well? What's up, man? Watch Dogs, the new Watch Dogs trailer, looks brilliant. So, Sean Stradamus, Kev Baker Show. You can't just believe everything or you play into the narrative. Seeing things with a clear mind is independence and the definition of being awake. Always question. Sean Stradamus, never any need to give me a title, brother. We're exactly the same. Cricket! Oh, imagine our friend Cricket is back. That is a good sight in there. It is. Very good sight. Good to see you. We've got Little Glob in there. Feed the worker, Kev. No, the asteroid ain't hitting us. Little Glob, she's psychic. She would know. Brian says, anybody know the status of the national observatories? Are they still closed? Very good point. We have got Lewis saying UFOs may break up the asteroid. Yep, we've got the Space Force out there. Suspicious about the observatories. I know everyone was quite suspicious about the observatories. A lot of that is raw data that comes in and can be done from home. remotely. And I only know that because I've got an astrophysicist that comes on the show. And we were talking about that one time, you know, the big flap about all these places closing down. Again, a lot of workplaces have kind of closed down, right? Starting to open up now, though. But yeah, Kev, hey, some paranormal woo. Goatman's Bridge in Texas. Goatman's Bridge? What a name for a place. Hang on, dude, I'm taking a note of that. Goatsman's Bridge. There we go. Got that written down, man. That's definitely a Freaky Friday topic right there, dude. So, dumbass folk here says, when did we get so NEA proficient kids with a new toy? I have no idea. I missed something there. Ah, well, hey, listen. If Taboo's on talking about it, I'm starting to more confidently say there might be nothing to this, to be honest with you. I'm only joking, folks. I'm going to scroll up, see what people are saying. See what they were saying earlier. They won't tell us anything. Something like this, you would absolutely expect to have the very highest levels of, like, secrecy on it. I remember when I was in the army, I had a secret clearance because we were doing messages, comsends, things like that, but there was way levels of vetting above that. And I would imagine if any transmissions would be coming into my call centre talking about an end of the world event, I would have been the last guy to have been sitting there noting it down, I can assure you. Again, I think that's what worries me the most about this. And I could be wrong. There might be other people that have had sources before this guy that we were looking at. This cat over here. And again, I'll sub to the channel. I'll sub. I'll watch. Check out that video. Up to 112. We'll probably click on this. It'll be even higher now. No, I thought it might have jumped again. That's going to go super viral. Regardless of the veracity of the information, that's going to go crazy online. You can imagine all of the forums that'll be picking that up. Guy's got a massive audience anyway. And again, is that why they go to somebody like that? Maybe they've used him before. I don't know. Maybe the guy... I don't know the guy's background. I'd need to know more about him. But again, I think I'm going to be pretty confident in saying the likelihood is that this isn't the one we need to worry about. But with that said, it is 2020, right? I mean, come on. If it's going to happen any year, it's going to be 2020. And then myself, Scotty, various guests, Ben Emlyn Jones is going to be coming on tonight. We've been talking for some time now about the ongoing UFO disclosure type stuff, right? Right? And if we come back to our good friend, is she still here? I think I've still got her here. Yeah. If we come back to our good friend, Carol Rosen, we paused it on the second last card, didn't we? We paused it on the asteroids. And the last card, you know the last card. You should know the last card.
Well, at the time, I kind of laughed when he said asteroids, and when he said extraterrestrials, I knew I wasn't going to deal with that subject.
We missed that. I'll need to put it back a little bit. Here we go.
Be terrorists. Then there would be third world countries. Now we call them rogue nations or nations of concern. Then there would be asteroids. And then he would repeat to me over and over. And the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat.
So, if Von Braun had it all sussed out and he had the game book, he had the playbook, you know, he's seen the stages. And let's face it, he was definitely in a position where probably he's seen a lot of the playbook. Then the disclosure that me and everyone's been talking about now, especially with Ben, who's coming on the show with me tonight, you go back to December 2017. Remember all of the hype, all of the change when the media started all of a sudden talking about aliens, but not playing the X-File music. You know, they weren't making a laugh and a joke about it. And since then, myself and Ben, we've done umpteen shows about what's going on with disclosure. If I was gonna go all in and I was gonna go real clickbaity, and I'm not gonna do that, folks. If I was, I would say, well, here we go. Here's the last two cards. They're coming. Do you know how I know that? Because get ready for get ready for the next craziness of 2020, okay? The next craziness of 2020, even before the asteroids, if they come or not. Do you know what it's going to be? It's going to be more alien woo. It's going to be lots of alien woo. And it's not coming from alternative media either. Check that out. The New York Times appears to be preparing another huge UFO revelation. Is it with everything going on in the world this year anyway? They've decided we'll just like start throwing things out because nobody's paying attention now? Or are they slowly bringing us up to speed for something that's going to happen in the near future? Really glad I'd done that Project Bluebeam historical kind of look at the old conspiracy theory a while ago. I think that could be quite handy information in the coming weeks, months, maybe a year. But I'll be discussing this with Ben tonight on the show, as well as Skinwalker. Remember, Skinwalker plays in to the disclosure and the aliens as well. Because on the next season of Skinwalker, they've got a very bold plan indeed. You know, they talk about establishing first contact with whatever the alien thing is above, on, below Skinwalker Ranch. A TV show with a Department of Defense astrophysicist called Travis Taylor and a guy, Brandon Fugel, a billionaire who bought the ranch off Bigelow, who has connections into ATIP, who's got connections into To the Stars Academy, and the whole disclosure phenomenon that's going on right now. You're telling me that we shouldn't, like, be kind of squinting our eyes and thinking, hold on a minute, when a TV show, including those people connected to the others, start telling you they're going to establish first contact with an alien? You know, I don't know, but as time passes, it certainly does seem like this lady here, the information that she got, and many have said that she made it all up. You know, she was just making up and things. It's all bunk. Seems to me that as time goes on, everything's falling into place, right? Right. Especially when you see all the news of the asteroid coming, aliens are coming. Again, folks, you can make information look any way you want if you've got preconceived ideas. It's hard as heck. It's one of the hardest things that I've had to try and learn to do over the years is not have any preconceived or predetermined ideas as to what's happened when I initially hear something. Because if you hear of XYZ event and you immediately think shenanigans, from that point on, every headline you look at, you're going to be able to see shenanigans. And on the flip side of that, if you think everything is just overhyped and people are crazy and off their heads and you're about debunking everything, then you're going to find just what you need to, in your mind, debunk it all and keep yourself really happy. And that's two different people looking at the same set of information. Where's the truth lie? It's hard to find the truth. You just have to keep spinning the plates. You need to look at things from various angles and try and see how they connect together. And only with time and that beautiful thing called hindsight are we able then to look at what really happened and try and make sense of that rabbit hole that we were down. So, with that said, I am almost out of time. I'm going to take a little quick drink. I'm going to say hello to my gorgeous other half. And I'll be back to wrap up the stream and we'll get ready for the arrival of Ben Emlyn Jones. I hope you all join me today for the main show. It's going to be a doozy. What do we think, guys? Do we think that'd be a nice looping background if we had all that kind of Plexus event just constantly looping on the stream? Would it look a little bit better than this? Oh, look at the Jedi skills, how much they've improved in just 1 week. Just 1 week! I tell you, this time next year I'm going to be making blockbusters. No, I won't. But I do have a plan. I think I'm going to be able to make maybe a 1 minute, 2 minute type video with really nice effects. And I'm going to construct from scratch Speculation Island. I'm going to make Speculation Island. We're going to fly into it. We're going to fly over it. You'll see the Bay of Conspiracy. You'll see the hashtag harbor up at the back. You'll see over the horizon from the land of speculation. It's going to be an absolutely brilliant thing. It truly, truly is. But you might have heard the door going there, or if my really cool soundboard caught it, you probably didn't. But that's dinner time for Kev. I'm going to go and stuff my face. As you can see, Anne there has gone and gorged on fast food. So yes, it's a very unhealthy one for me today. And I hope you can join me later on when I am joined by Ben Emlyn Jones. And no, that isn't Ben Emlyn Jones. Ben looked like that, would be worried. That would definitely be a...
Excuse me, it's man.
Yep. So it's this one here. That's Ben Emlyn Jones. There he is. And we'll be talking about Skinwalker. We'll be talking about UFOs. We'll be talking about a whole heap of other things as well. Oh, I just seen a how dare you in the chat room.
How dare you?
I had to. What have I done? What have I done? Now I'll read the actual message. With a surname Baker, the plan better involve some pie. How dare you? Yes, how dare me. Cricket, you, my friend, it has made my streaming day to see you back on KBS. It really, really has. You've been sorely missed by the family here. We've been keeping Discord going in the background. And remember, you were one of the main ones that set that up. You're going to be very impressed with all of the people we've gathered over there now. And I'm sure they're going to love getting to know you half as much as I have. So, Cricket, you take care. Love to you and your family. Send Cricket some big vibes. Some bad stuff going on. She needs our love. Some big vibes. So it's coming your way, Cricket. And yes, until later, well, 28 minutes from now, you can catch me on tfrlive.com when I'll be joined by Ben Emlyn Jones. Thank you all so, so much for being here. Thank you for last week, for all of the birthday messages, the presents. Honestly, you lot absolutely rock. I'm sorry that I don't commit one way or the other. I really shouldn't apologize for trying to share some of the things I've picked up along the way, that if I had employed them earlier on in my, I don't call it research, I only use Google and things, researchers, phone people that talk to people, but if I had known some of the stuff that I know now, I could have saved myself some really anxious, sleepless nights, okay? So hopefully this comes to nothing. But we will keep our eye on it and we will see what happens. So until later, keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Big shout out to Donnie down under. Donnie, do you ever sleep? Donnie will be back on this weekend. He'll be on Saturday with the rest of our mob from down under. We're going walkabout again.